No DQ Galaxy. We are live with the NoDQ.com recap of AEW Dynamite for Wednesday, February 23rd, 2022. We have the Revolution pay-per-view coming up in just a few weeks. Shout out to everybody for watching this, whether it's live or on demand. I appreciate your viewership and support. With that being said, let's get right down to this recap. We started off Dynamite with a tag team battle royal to determine one of the teams that will challenge the Jurassic Express at the Revolution pay-per-view. Jurassic Express were there up on the stage to catch a glimpse of their potential opponents. And yes, Hamp, it's actually a week and a half. Not 2 weeks. My bad. Anyways, early on in this match, Matt Hardy was getting involved on the outside, trying to save his private party teammates, but he was unsuccessful. They were eliminated. Crowd did the delete chants, and Matt once again walked out on his team. We had a little bit of a face-off between FTR and the Young Bucks. You had Red Dragon helping out the Bucks. At one point, Orange Cassidy was under the ring, and he came out, saved Trent Beretta from being eliminated. Tully Blanchard tried to help out FTR, but he was unsuccessful. And it came down to 6 individual men from different teams, each person representing a different team. Santana and Trent Beretta were going at it. Of course, they had that parking lot brawl during the pandemic that was very highly regarded. Bobby Fish, who had been eliminated, caused Dax Harwood to be eliminated. And then it was down to John Silver up against Matt Jackson and Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle ended up faking that he was hurt. He told Matt to eliminate Silver. Matt did that, and then Kyle dumped Matt over the top to pick up the win. So him and Bobby Fish are the first team that will be challenging the Jurassic Express Revolution, and we will have a second team that will be in a casino battle royal match next week. After the match was over, we had a little bit of some tension between the Bucks and the Red Dragon tag team, Undisputed Era, whatever you want to call them. We then had the world champion, Hangman Adam Page, show up. He attacked Fish and O'Reilly as the Bucks just stood there and watched what was going on. Adam Cole showed up, tried to sneak attack Page, but he was unsuccessful. Page went for the buckshot lariat. However, Fish and O'Reilly pulled Cole to the outside of the ring to safety. Then we had John Silver throw Kyle O'Reilly back into the ring, and Kyle got hit with the buckshot lariat. After all this, Page got on the microphone and cut a promo on Adam Cole, said that Cole has won all these championships. He came to AEW looking for the world title, but in reality, according to Page, Cole is getting closer and closer to being 6 feet under. And at Revolution, Page said that Cole will get too close to the grave, and the better Adam is going to send the worst Adam into that grave. So yeah, very good segment here to kick off the show. Enjoyed the Battle Royal. Well laid out as far as the match went, and making the final people in the match look good. And then we had the setup here to build up the main event, the World Championship match, and also teased the dissension between the Bucks and Red Dragon. And there was a promo later on in the show where the Bucks confronted Red Dragon backstage and basically vowed to win the match next week to get that third spot, or the second opportunity, whatever, to make it a triple threat at the Revolution pay-per-view. We had Bryan Danielson interviewed backstage, talked about how he is going to not only beat Daniel Garcia in the main event, but also have an answer to Jon Moxley about will they bleed together before they fight together. We had MJF come to the ring for a promo, and this was quite the promo. This was a different side of MJF from what we're used to seeing. MJF said that as far as last week went, when CM Punk showed the photo of them at the autograph signing before MJF became a wrestler, and CM Punk said it was just another Friday for him, MJF said that day meant everything to him. MJF got personal with us. He talked about how growing up he had ADD and he tried to play football, but kids just bullied him for being Jewish. And he said that the day he got to meet CM Punk, that inspired him. He said he was going to be like his hero, CM Punk. And he talked about how he studied tapes, he practiced promos in the mirror. But then, January 2014, CM Punk left him, left everyone, and it buried MJF's dreams. But then, years later, he went on Instagram, saw a photo of CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, and MJF made a decision that he was going to become the best wrestler in the world in spite of CM Punk, and said he will not quit at Revolution in the dog collar match because quitting would make him no better than CM Punk. And the truth is, he is better than CM Punk, and CM Punk knows it. CM Punk then arrived, and he was just not really sure what to make of this whole thing. Wanted to know if this was how MJF really felt, if this was all real. And MJF just walked off, and as he was walking away, he had a little tear in his eye. I mean, this was a hell of a promo from MJF, and of course, everybody wondering, is this all a big setup? He's trying to play mind games with CM Punk because this was a very good guy-like promo from MJF. Regardless of what it leads to, it was great. This was a really awesome promo from MJF. He just went out there and got people liking him, despite all this stuff he's done over the past couple of years. In one promo, he got people to feel some sympathy towards him. Very nicely done by MJF, and it adds another layer to this feud going into the pay-per-view. So well done here. Very, very entertaining, very compelling promo here to set up their match. And as Jose says in the chat room, this could be considered the main event, quite frankly. And I'm still saying MJF is the guy to dethrone Adam Page for the title. I don't think it's going to be Adam Cole. We then had a tag team match. We had the House of Black, Malachi Black, along with Brody King, going up against Pac and Penta, who has reinvented himself. I guess this is like his Lucha Underground persona. I barely watched Lucha Underground, so pardon my ignorance. But yeah, I think it was supposed to be like his Lucha Underground character. He was dressed in all black. He rose from a tombstone, and his man Alex was dressed up like a creepy vampire horror character or something. So anyways, we had a really entertaining tag team match from these guys. Black kicked out of a 450 from Pac very early on. Brody was showing off a lot of innovative offense. Pac was up on the shoulders of Penta, and Brody chopped Pac, causing Pac to fall back and basically hit Penta with a reverse Hurricane Rana. It was crazy. And then Brody King did a dive. The Death Triangle members eventually made a comeback. They went for the Fear Factor on Brody, but they did not know that Malachi had tagged himself back in. Malachi tried to use the mist, but Penta countered that with a roll-up, and actually Malachi ended up swallowing his own mist. Penta got the 1-2-3 victory, and after the match, Malachi went to the outside, grabbed some water to try and recover from swallowing the mist. And then he grabbed a shovel that Penta had brought to the ring, and he was going to use the shovel, but then the lights went out. And when they came back on, we had the first appearance in AEW of Buddy Murphy, aka Buddy Matthews, which is his post-WWE name. Crowd was chanting, "Holy shit." And he acted like he was going to attack Malachi Black, but of course, Swerve, Vince Russo Swerve, he attacks Pac and Penta. And then Brody came in, took out the security that was trying to stop things, and then Buddy got the chair and drove Penta's head into the chair. Buddy Matthews now a part of the House of Black, which was teased, and pretty much that was what we were expecting after the little video package from last week. Good debut from Buddy, but again, as we've been saying in recent weeks, AEW picking up a lot of people and not too many subtractions, at least up to this point. Cody Rhodes is gone, but they have a lot of people that they've been bringing in, and we'll see how it goes. But Buddy, part of this group, and they got a little bit of momentum here, even though they took the L. I figured Penta would pick up the win here with the little change up to his character. So good stuff all around. And then we had an in-ring confrontation between Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho with security in the ring. And this was another noteworthy promo segment. MJF's promo segment definitely got a lot of people talking, and so did this one. Eddie, he just wanted to fight. He said he's not a sports entertainer. He wants to fight. And Jericho said that, yes, they're down the block from Stamford. This was in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And he said they're going to do a little bit of sports entertainment here. But Jericho said it's actually going to be entertaining. And Jericho started talking about Eddie Kingston, saying that he didn't know anything about Eddie Kingston. And the first time he saw him, he thought Eddie Kingston looked like a jobber. He used the term jobber. Vince Russo, somewhere out there, was probably loving this segment. And then Jericho said that Eddie came to AEW and had this match against what's his name, which was Cody Rhodes, but Jericho did not use his name, and said that he heard Eddie talk, realized that Eddie was actually pretty good and had the potential to be a babyface. And Eddie Kingston was like, "What's a babyface?" That was a funny line. I definitely got a laugh out of that one. They're using the insider terms here, and yeah, I mean, probably people that do not watch AEW religiously or do not watch wrestling religiously might be like, "What's a babyface again?" They might have no clue what it means. Anyways, promo continued here, and Jericho was talking about how Eddie Kingston made it to the big time at 38 years old. And Jericho said by the time he was 38, he was already the world champion. He already main evented around the world. And he said that he thinks Eddie Kingston is jealous. And Eddie responded by saying Jericho only did all that stuff because Eddie Kingston wasn't there. Eddie again said he wanted to fight, and he suggested that they fight at the pay-per-view. There was a response by Jericho, and he said that Eddie Kingston is a guy who has issues with success. Eddie believed in his family members, but they were failures. Jericho said Eddie's a failure as well. Cannot win the big one, which is very true because, as I've talked about in previous recaps, Eddie Kingston gets these big pay-per-view matches and ends up coming up short. Jericho brought up the fact that Eddie Kingston doesn't win the big one, but did accept the match for Revolution and said that if somehow, some way, Kingston gets the win, then Jericho will shake Eddie's hand, show him some respect and all that stuff. Eddie then said that he does not want the Chris Jericho that was in a mimosa match, the Chris Jericho that was pushed off the cage by MJF. He wants the world champion Chris Jericho, the Chris Jericho that Jericho's close friend Levesque hated. Levesque, of course, a reference to Triple H, Paul Levesque. And then Jericho finished off this promo by saying that Eddie is nothing but a loser and will never win the big one. Hell of a segment here. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, they did the insider terms, catering to the hardcore audience. They're catering to the 250,000 people that will buy Revolution. But hey, I'm one of those 250,000 people, and I was entertained by it, and I'm looking forward to the match. But really, Eddie Kingston's got to win this, right? But we'll talk about predictions next week. And as Hamp mentions, the big one is also a reference to Jericho not winning the big one during his feud with The Rock. So there you go. We had another Face of the Revolution qualifier match. We had Ricky Starks versus 10. 10 got in a little bit of offense and was going to put on the full Nelson, but then Ricky Starks grabbed at the mask and hit a spear to pick up the win over 10. This was, pretty standard TV match. Not much to say about it. And then right at 9:30, guess what match we had? We had a women's match at 9:30. Jade versus the Bunny. The Bunny had no entrance whatsoever. Matt Hardy was there. He interfered, but Mark Sterling was out there to counteract Matt Hardy, and there was a pair of brass knuckles brought in the ring. The TBS title was brought in the ring. Cargill blocked the knuckles with the championship. Matt Hardy and Mark Sterling were ejected. Bunny went for a roll-up, but there was a kick out. She had some super kicks, but then could not finish off Jade. Jade was able to hit the Jaded, picked up the win. No surprise here. Showcase match for Jade. She got on the mic, and people have been saying she's like the female Goldberg. They're playing up her streak. She's 28-0, and she said that she is soon to be 50-0. And then she even used the Goldberg line, "Who's next?" Well, the person who's next is Ty Conti. She showed up, got in Jade's face. A big fight broke out, and Ty took out the Bunny, but then Jade caught her with a pump kick and got a little bit of the final momentum as they head into their title match in a week and a half at AEW Revolution. Keith Lee did a little interview backstage talking about the Face of the Revolution ladder match, and Ricky Starks mocked him and basically said that Keith Lee needs to learn some rules. Team Taz is in charge, yada, yada, yada. And then we had our main event of the evening, Bryan Danielson versus Danny Garcia. And it was a wrestling match. It was good. Good wrestling match here between the two of them. Trading some submissions, trading some blows. Danny Garcia was holding his own. Bryan would slap him. Danny would slap him back. Bryan kicked his head in, put on the triangle sleeper to win. Good match. Not sure that I would have put this as the main event. Daniel Garcia, guy's a good wrestler, but man, he just needs some kind of character. Like, he has no character whatsoever. He's just a wrestler. I mean, that's really my only criticism. Match was good, though. And afterwards, Bryan got on the mic and was surveying the crowd, asking if Garcia was violent enough. But then 2.0 showed up. They attacked Daniel Bryan because, he basically said that 2.0 wasn't bringing up Garcia correctly. Jon Moxley arrived to make the save. Garcia was going to use a chair on Moxley, but Bryan took the chair away, and Moxley hit Garcia with the paradigm shift. And then afterwards, there was this face-off between Bryan and Moxley. Crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." And then Bryan got on the mic and accepted the match for Revolution, but said, "Don't be surprised if it's Moxley who's the only one to bleed in that match." I have a feeling they're both going to bleed. Just throwing it out there. And now that Cody's gone, it's open season on the bleeding. But all in all, great Dynamite. I really enjoyed it. The promos were fantastic. MJF, Chris Jericho, Eddie Kingston, all delivered on the mic. Wrestling was solid. The Battle Royal was fun. And, at the end of the show, they picked it up a little bit with the Moxley and Bryan setup. That's going to be a hell of a match. Revolution is, on paper, looking like a fantastic card here, which is pretty much the norm for AEW. Hamp Cano with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Hamp. I appreciate it. Says, the shows have been better since Tony Khan has been booking them by himself. I just wish they wouldn't expect me to know all these people from the indies. Maybe Cody was a problem? As far as Cody goes, we can all speculate on what the deal was. We'll have to wait and see what happens if Cody ever does an interview and explains it. But my feeling is it was just business. Cody felt like there's a better opportunity elsewhere. And if it's WWE, we'll see how they utilize him. And money's a factor too. Cody's a new dad. It's stuff we've all talked about. Anything can happen in the wrestling business. Never say never. People thought it was unlikely. Hell, Cody said it was unlikely he was going to go back to WWE, and things change. But yes, I do think Cody is going back to the pay-per-view. And yeah, on paper, Revolution is looking great. Double or Nothing is coming up. They confirmed it for Las Vegas. It's going to be at the T-Mobile Arena instead of the MGM Grand. They're also going to do AEW Dynamite and Rampage at the smaller Mandalay Bay Arena. That's coming up at the end of May, Memorial Day weekend. And yeah, that's Dynamite, everyone. All in all, I would say a recommend for this show, and definitely go out of your way to check out the MJF promo as well as the Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston promo. Really good stuff there. Definitely a thumbs up for Dynamite. Letter grade, I'd probably give it a B+, maybe even an A-. Overall, I thought it was a great show. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for the No DQ review coming up, SmackDown, and then next week we'll be doing predictions for the AEW Revolution pay-per-view. And of course, after Revolution on Sunday, March 6th, I will be doing the late night recap, midnight, whenever it is. It's always pretty late, and especially with the packed card that they got here, I suspect it's going to be going late. No, Ryback will not be debuting. Ryback's pretty much the last guy you're ever going to see in AEW. More likely that he goes to the EC3 Control Your Narrative promotion. Anyways, guys, enjoy the rest of your week. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com. Please keep supporting the site and the channel. And remember, say yes to NoDQ.com. Take care, everybody. Peace out.